overcome sexual lust? Number one. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my channel where I tell you stories to answer questions pertaining to life. And today's video will be answering the question, how to overcome sexual lust. Number one. Before we get the story started, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you don't miss out from interesting videos such as this one. Feel free to ask me your questions in the comment section. I'll be there to tell you a story, answering them. And as well, this story started off yesterday, so the link is in the description. Know where to click it so you can understand the story fully. But even if you don't click that link to watch the first part, you will still understand the story and it will be very beneficial to you. So let's get the story started. Kelvin stood up from his knees after kneeling down for a while. A part of him still felt amazed, though he had a mild smile on his face. He repeated the same words he said to himself a few minutes ago, but this time around added a few more words to it. Josephine, before you walked out of this room to your death, you cried. You begged me, you asked that we stop having sex. While he was talking, drops of tears started running down his eyes, so he picked up his white handkerchief from the bed, cleaned the tears, and continued. So I promise you, Josephine, even in your death, I promise myself, I will never get involved in any sexual activity any longer until I get married. A few weeks later, Josephine's burial was fixed and Kelvin went to pay his last respect to her. 2 months later, one night, Kelvin laid on the bed and he couldn't sleep. He was finding it really difficult to sleep. He kept rolling from the left to the right, from the right to the left. He couldn't just find sleep anywhere. So he stood up from the bed, went into the bedroom, poured cold water on his body, expecting that he would sleep after them, but no way. He still couldn't sleep. So he stood up, walking to and fro in his room, trying to keep his mind together because of the several thoughts running through his mind. He kept seeing several ladies in his mind, and whenever he thought of them, he undressed them and imagined doing the same thing he was doing with Josephine with them. At some point, he could not bear it any longer. He had to pick up his phone and fed his eyes with nude pictures and nude videos, trying to please himself. Even he started touching himself just to derive pleasure. The next day, he met one of the ladies he thought of last night. He spoke to her and almost immediately this lady agreed to be his friend. Anyways, that shouldn't surprise you because Kelvin is a handsome guy. So with a dark skin that glows brightly. It was many ladies' spec. So I wouldn't really blame the lady, but she agreed, and of course Kelvin continued living that lifestyle, having sex, having fun with ladies. He even started wishing to have more ladies to himself. Like if he just want to do one again, he wanted to do many, and he did it. Remember, the same Kelvin promised himself that he wasn't going to get himself involved in any sexual activity any longer until he got married, but of course that was just an empty promise. So this continued and continued and continued for a very long time. One day, Kelvin had to go back to his family's house in the village because they had a meeting. And that night, when he was alone in his room, he felt very lonely. He was in the village, so he felt very lonely. He was just pressing his phone, checking through people's messages, social media, and he didn't realize when his hands went beneath his trouser until the last conversation he had with Josephine echoed in his mind. Especially that one when he said he can stop having sex if he wants to stop having sex, and so he doesn't need help like Josephine claimed. Now Josephine, before she died, told her boyfriend that they needed help, they need to stop. But that time, with full chest, he said he can stop if he wants to stop. At that moment, he remembered this thing. He broke down in tears because he now knows that he could not actually stop. He cannot stop. He wanted to stop, but he's now finding it really difficult. He cried so much that his aged mother, who was sleeping in her room, woke up. And with the aid of her walking stick, she found her way to Kelvin's room. When she stood in front of the door, she called Kelvin 3 times. Chidozie, Chidozie, Chidozie. Chidozie was Kelvin's Igbo name, and she preferred calling him that. Only then did Chidozie Kelvin realized that he had cried so much and his voice was so loud that he had woken up his aged mother. So he quickly stood up and opened the door for her. With the aid of her walking stick, she found her way to the bed without saying a word until she sat down. She then looked at her son and said, Chidozie Nwam, Ogini. She said that in Igbo, which means, Chidozie, my child, what is it? Chidozie fell down on the floor like a baby, still crying. He responded, Mommy, Mommy, I am dying, I need help. The mom responded with so much calmness in her voice, unlike her when she was still a young mother that didn't know God. She would have responded in a different way. But coming to know God at old age made her very gentle and made her stay at peace no matter what stood in front of her. So she asked her son, what are you dying of? Chidozie exclaimed, still crying, Mommy, I am dying of sexual lust. I am dying. I die every day. It started since last year. I'm tired. His mom looked at him and asked him, so why do you want to stop now? Are you no longer enjoying it? Chidozie remained quiet, of course. He didn't say anything. So his mom continued talking. Anyways, you've discovered the first step to your freedom. Recognizing that you have a problem and you need help quickly. But then it remains 2 more steps to your freedom. Chidozie looked at his mom, anticipating to hear the 2 more steps to his freedom. He was so eager to get free from this bondage. But then his mom bent down, picked up her walking stick and stood up, and then said to him, follow me, and walk behind me. So she left Kelvin's room, while Kelvin followed her at her back. But at some point, Kelvin got tired of walking behind his mother. She was walking very slow. A old woman like that, of course, you will get tired if you're the one now. But then Kelvin was tired but still had to obey his mom. He was the one that needed help, so why not? He followed his mom diligently at her back until they got to her room. She then sat down on the bed and said to Kelvin, look around and tell me what you notice. Kelvin looked around and said to his mom, I can see scriptures written over so many papers pasted in your room. I can see your Bible and your books on the table. I can hear your music box playing some worship music. I can see. While he was still talking, his mother interrupted. That's okay. Now listen to me. This leads us to the second step to your freedom. Take charge of your environment. When you came back earlier this afternoon, I heard the kind of music you were playing, and I shook my head. And of course, I'm not surprised of the sickness you are dying of. I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I'm wondering the caliber of people you call friends. Anyways, taking charge of your environment simply means take charge of the physical look of where you stay, and also selectively, like do it consciously. Select the people you put around you. Your friends matters a lot because this whole environment is made up of. the people are very important. And now that leads us to the third step that I will say is a very important step to your freedom. A very important one. I will call it the most important step, which is take charge of your mind. At this point, his mother picked a cup of water on the stool close to her bed and drank. She was thirsty. She had to even clear her throat before she continued talking. She said to Chidozie, Kelvin, remember, I wish I could tell you everything about the mind. I wish I could give you in details how to take charge of your mind. But then my eyes are heavy and it needs sleep. But I'll tell you one thing before I go to bed. She stretched her leg on the bed, preparing to sleep, before she continued talking. Guide your heart with all diligence and be very careful about what goes into that mind. That's what I'll tell you about your mind. If you want more details by tomorrow morning, come to my room and I will explain more on how to take charge of your mind, because the sin, the bondage of sexual lust is very powerful when it takes hold of your mind. And this is the reason why so many people, even when prayed for, even when the spirit is casted out, they still get involved in those acts because it has taken hold of their mind. So you need to take it out of your mind. Begin to feed your mind with something different. Yes, feed your mind with the opposite things you were doing before. Pick up your phone and watch videos that speaks against those actions. Feed your mind consciously. And above all those 3 steps I mentioned to you, cry. Kelvin, cry. Chidozie, cry. Cry to God for help. Pray that He helps you. She then closed her eyes to sleep. But she immediately opened it again and said, one more thing. The journey you are about to take is a very slow journey. And that's why I asked you to walk behind me earlier on. You must learn to be patient with yourself and keep doing the right things. And even if you fall, get up, clean up yourself, and keep doing the right thing, what I have taught you. And very soon, you'll be free from this bondage called sexual lust. She then closed her eyes again and slept. That is the end of my story, titled Kelvin's Deliverance, and it could also be titled Your Deliverance. If you can follow these 3 steps very well, recognize you have a problem, take charge of your environment, and take charge of your mind. Above all, pray to God for help and be patient with yourself. And hopefully, not just hopefully, I believe and I know you'll be free from that bondage, from that affliction called sexual lust. I can't wait to hear your testimony. Feel free to throw your opinions to me in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe to this channel. There are many more videos, much more interesting videos. I'll be answering questions pertaining to life. You don't want to miss it at all. See you next week. Bye.